everyone, welcome back. This is another tutorial. You guys know that I love doing tutorials, hair tutorials especially, that I do everything on my own here at home, and this is no different. So I transformed my breasty hair that really desperately needed a root to chop into this beautiful blonde. Of course, I'm going to show you guys all the products. Of course, I'm going to show you guys step by step of this whole entire process. But before we get started, I'd like to invite you to subscribe here if you're not subscribed yet, and to tap the bell so you won't be missing any new content in our channel. If you're new here, this is your first video, please be very welcome. I'm Faye, and here we go. Let's get back to hair situation. So this is how my hair looks without having any root to chop in months. So I'll be working on my roots and I'll refresh the color and the length as well. Now let's get started. First, I put my old t-shirt and remove all jewelry. And I'll be using 2 hair coloring brushes, a spatula, a crochet needle, powder lightener, 30 volume developer, 20 volume developer, 2 different containers, highlighting cap, gloves, hair clips, and I'll add a bit of Olaplex, weight scale, hairbrush, and a comb with a fine end. So start brushing my hair very well. And then put the highlighting cap on. You have to find the right size for your head. That's extremely important because if the cap doesn't fit well, the result of your highlights will be affected. And then I tied the knot loose, leaving space to fit 2 fingers. You also need a mirror. I start pulling my hair off the cap using the crochet needle. I'll leave the details about that on the video description below. At first, it takes a while, but once you get used to, you pull your hair a bit faster. I make sure to brush every section of my hair after pulling it. It takes me from 40 minutes to an hour, and I know it's a long process. At the top of my head, I make sure to work on getting the locks very thin because it gives me a better result. Then after pulling the hair, I brush it one more time to different directions. This will make it easier to apply the product. And now, measure the first mixture. For the roots, I add powder lightener first and then add the 30 volume developer. I usually use 2-to-1 ratio powder and developer, but this is a thick developer, so I used a bit more. As you guys can see, I add the product slowly to avoid wasting any of it. And this is what the consistency should look like to avoid bleeding product through the cap. The total amount I used was 90 grams of powder lightener and 70 grams of 30 volume developer. Now let's wear the gloves and start working on the roots. I start on the back of my hair, slowly applying the mixture on the roots only. Oops, a little bit of the mixture fell, but no worries. The mixture is so thick that you can easily remove it with your fingers only. For the next section, I'll pull all my hair up so we can start working on the bottom part first. It's important to apply the product in different directions. This way, it's easier to cover the entire hair with the mixture. Because the mixture is so thick, so it's very important to cover the entire hair, every single part of it. And now I'll divide the last part in two different sections. Always make sure how fast is the product bleaching your hair so you can speed up the process or slow down if you need it. Now, preparing the mixture for the hair length. I used 50 grams of powdered lightener with 50 grams of 20 volume developer. This developer is more runny and this mixture has to be more runny to apply easier. So I don't need a brush here, as you guys can tell. I just apply with my fingers. Once I'm done, I put my hair all up and then cover with a foil cap and wait until it bleaches to the desired level. This is how much product is left. I always leave a little amount in case I need it later. So after waiting about 20 minutes, I do the first check. Remove some of the product from my roots to double check. But it's not there yet, so I cover again with product and then put the cap back on and wait a little bit more. Time to have it checked again. And now it is looking good. That's the level that I wanted. So time to wash. And this is how it looks. It's quite yellow on the roots, but now it's time to tone the hair. So here I'll be using equal parts of 8B and 9B for the roots. So I added 9 grams of each hair dye plus 10 grams of developer only. And then I start applying on the roots only. And for the roots, I prefer using a brush to apply the product. And as the hair is wet, it's easier to apply and also much faster. It's always a good idea to use a timer to know for sure how long you keep the product on the hair. And for the length of the hair, I'll use equal parts of 10B plus developer. A total of 32 grams of the mixture. This time, as you guys can see, I'm using my fingers to spread the mixture through the hair. When I'm done, then I start shading the hair, which means massaging the midsection in order to bring both mixtures together, making sure I never reach the ends of my hair, but stay in the midsection only. That's what my shading technique looks like. And this is how it looks after a few minutes. See, it's perfect. And let me show you guys the difference between the roots and the ends, comparing both. And now time to wash with shampoo and conditioner, and this is how it looks after removing the cap. And this is the final result. So now I'd like to mention a few important things. First things first, if you know the products that I was using, you're going to say, oh, you didn't need Olaplex with that. I know, guys, but I love Olaplex. Me and Olaplex, we have a great relationship. That's why I put Olaplex on absolutely everything. My root doesn't have the hair straightening anymore, but my ancestor does. And I was a bit scared. That's why I added a bit of Olaplex on the second mixture, the one that I put on my length, the hair length. In your case, if you don't have Olaplex and you also want some extra hair protection for your hair, you can use like a hair boost or something that has some vitamins. I'm going to show you one that I have here at home, if I still have it. If I don't, I'll put a picture. If you're here in North America, United States, Canada, you can find at Sally Beauty. And look for one that has good vitamins, good protein for your hair. But of course, make sure you add just a little bit so the bleaching powder or the bleaching cream, it's not gonna lose its potency. So the bleaching process takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah, it's a long process. Especially when you're recording. I'm not complaining, I like to do that. But the toning process takes only up to 20 minutes total, no more than that. I know some of you are going to say, oh, but you're using a hair dye instead of a toner. Yes, and that's my absolutely preference because two things. First things first, the hair toner fades way quicker comparing to the hair dye. The hair dye fades too, but it takes longer. So what I'm doing here, actually, I'm using the hair dye, the permanent hair dye, as a toner because first I'm applying on wet hair. Hair dyes you're supposed to apply on dry hair. And second, you're supposed to leave it for like up to 45 minutes if you're dyeing the hair. But if you're just toning, you can put for 15 to 20 minutes the most. You're not gonna need any more than that. And another reason why I avoid using a toner is because toners are usually very watery, and if you apply that kind of consistency on like the cap, it's gonna bleed through the cap. There's no way you can do that. And I know some people, they like to tone the entire hair, removing the cap or removing all the foil in case they are highlighting the hair with the foil. But the toner needs a 20 volume developer. And if you have dark hair like mine, it can bring some of the warmth. And you don't want to do that. For me, this is a no, no, no. The beauty of the highlighted hair is the contrast of the highlights in your natural dark hair. When the highlights contrast with a warm dark color, it doesn't look good, especially if you have olive skin like me. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe here if you're not subscribed yet, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Beijo. Ciao.